What's up guys? Welcome to Anime Kahai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
In fact, my target didn't even need to be in close proximity to me any longer. However, it gained strength as I drew nearer to the opposing group, so now that I was within shooting distance of Veldora, I anticipated a significant performance. But I had already made up my mind.
I appreciate you causing me so much difficulty, Veldora. Stop causing me constant worry about you.
I attempted consuming Veldora via Belzebuth as soon as I said it. But then...
It was only a small mistake on my part. I apologize.
My head was filled with a voice that I really shouldn't have been hearing.
Veldora, correct?
In fact, it's me, Veldora the Storm Dragon, your former ally.
It was not a trap, there. He was acting too foolishly for it to be true. Nobody else could have been that careless voice, which he could not have imagined.
Hey, you're conscious, right?
Yes, I actually pulled my core away as swiftly as I could. I am unable to talk, but I can still think clearly.
Aha, he is there, so that's good. Did telepathic contact through his heart become conceivable if Belzebuth was making its way through his body? In either case, I was relieved that he was safe, but now I was also enraged.
What are you waiting for now? Take back physical control.
He was treating this like a day at the beach in the midst of all that anxiety. Do you think he knew how terrified I was? I felt it was appropriate to grouse a little about it.
If I could, I would have completed that long ago. But Rimuru, pay attention to me. Don't you think you ought to be a little more composed and cautious?
As if I needed him to inform me. Besides...
Shut up. I wouldn't have done anything so insane as taking on 2 true dragons at once if I was going to be cool about this.
I didn't require anyone to inform me of it. Now that I had regained my composure, I actually felt rather proud of myself for having survived. Then again, I couldn't have been too cautious. There was nothing inherently careful about dealing with true dragons. But even as I was considering this, Veldora was still enthusiastically advising me.
Oh, be on the lookout because I'm going to unleash some dark lightning.
Stop delivering color commentary like it's a sports broadcast.
Even worse, Death Calling Wind was launched rather than Dark Lightning. Seal cancelled it for me, and I'm sure I could have avoided it anyhow. But why was he giving me false advice?
You call that lightning, right? That's Death Calling Wind. It was going to kill me.
The response to my complaints was a half-laughing justification.
I apologize. It appears that I still don't fully understand my body. I can reasonably feel myself doing a skill, but I can only correctly recognize it approximately half the time.
He wasn't being of any assistance, then. It was probably safer to just ignore Veldora's predictions because my attacker had control probability as well.
Okay, it makes sense. Please simply stop talking for me. You don't need to do that. It wouldn't be very hilarious if I put my life in danger because I believed random rubbish you told me at this crucial time. You have really let me down.
This led to a small amount of panic in Veldora.
Stop, Rimuru, stop. Here, I'm trying my best. Allow me to assist you briefly.
He was struggling to make his argument, but he didn't have much evidence to support it. Here, I had to prioritize reason above feeling. In addition, I had his cooperation before. My worries were greatly reduced just by hearing Veldora's voice.
Well, I'm just glad you're okay.
With his characteristically animated laugh, Veldora replied.
Obviously, I am. I'm the most powerful of all dragons.
Right. That was relieving. But then...
In addition, I was the one who blocked our soul corridor, not Rudra. I've never actually lost a combat.
Huh? What's this guy talking about?
What exactly do you mean?
It's easy. Rudra attempted to exert influence over me while I was preoccupied with the attack by that man Kondo. The 3 of them tackling me all at once, my sister included, infuriated me. How incredibly unfair. But unwillingly I decided to cut the corridor away since I wanted to avoid the worst-case scenario.
Mr. Strong Dragon, it appears to me that you were being a little careless there. On the battlefield, there is no distinction between fair and unfair.
Stop acting like you were Sonobu. What the heck were you doing, anyway? Never let your guard down, as I've been reminding you repeatedly.
Under these circumstances, I never expected you to be lecturing me.
Veldora seems to be having a great time with this. It was disgusting. I moved on because it was too abhorrent and meaningless to continue tolerating.
So you shut down our soul corridor, is that right?
Indeed. I reasoned that you would have also been impacted by Rudra's dominance in the corridor in addition to me.
So in order to keep me safe, he quickly shut it off? I honestly couldn't be furious at him any longer if that's the explanation he offered me.
Okay, it makes sense. Great. If so, then hold on while I take care of this.
Very good. I don't worry about anything.
That kind of dependability is nice.
Right. Hold out a bit, I'll have you free soon.
What a joy to hear. I'll have faith in that, my friend.
I was therefore aware of Veldora's fate. Although he was no longer in charge of his own body, his inner self was still there. I would have to take care of that for him because he didn't currently have the ability to recover control. I didn't anticipate any issues because I knew that if his core was in good condition, the rest would be easy. Here's one suggestion.
Seal, would we be able to revive Veldora, Lord of the Storm, if we have Veldora's core in our possession?
Not an issue. The ultimate skill can be recovered whenever a soul corridor is once again connected to Veldora's core, as all information pertaining to the skill has been preserved.
Oh, that was simple. I only needed to swallow Veldora in front of me in order to get his core. Now all I had to do was make my move, which was simple. It's time to beat this adversary, Veldora the Storm Dragon, the most powerful dragon in the land, and so forth. Now that the solution was evident, I made the decision to do this quickly. The location of his core and my time limit were the two issues that were still in play. I still had a lot of time left. There had only been a few seconds of actual time, as we had been utilizing hasten thought to speed up that previous conversation. I had more than 3 minutes to use even after the attacking and defending that occurred in between. The position of the core was the issue. Although it was inside his body and close enough for me to telepathically interact with it, finding its precise location was actually quite difficult. All would be lost if I were to unintentionally damage it during the procedure. This mission would be a failure, and Veldora would undergo the reincarnation cycle. Normally, you wouldn't have to be concerned about this because the creature's core is its most well-protected area. However, Veldora's core was cut off from his main body, and was mostly defenseless as a result. It would be quite unpleasant if a negligent blow resulted in a direct impact in the wrong location. I'm sure it would free him from Rudra's control, but it would also erase Veldora's present personality and wouldn't repair our soul corridor. At all costs, that had to be prevented. I wouldn't have to worry about anything if I could eat Veldora all at once. Unfortunately, even with my complex space, I couldn't devour him whole, not without his permission. I could try to weaken him a little bit and lower his magicule count, or I could try to prey on him more while being cautious not to harm the core. Now that I gave it more attention, it didn't seem feasible to deliberately harm Veldora's body. Maybe it was a little scary and dangerous to give him a few headbutts like I did before. I came in believing it'd be difficult to harm, let alone defeat, him, and now he seemed like a fragile doll to me. Of course, a single bolt of magic would hardly harm him, and a random punch or kick would have the same effect. The damage from these attacks only becomes more significant when you combine them with the effects of an ultimate skill. Even the most potent holy magic, disintegration, was only marginally effective against Veldora's enormous frame. These true dragons were extremely tough. It was part of what distinguished them as such. Yes, I do believe that some attacking is safe enough, but you never know what may happen if you strike someone in the incorrect spot. Now that Veldora couldn't control his own body, that was true even more. It was just impossible to predict what he would do. It was therefore best to refrain from making any attacks until I was certain of the position of Veldora's core. I could only move forward in such a case. I had to put in the effort, utilize predation to chip away at him little by little, and hope that I would discover the core along the way. I had no choice but to race against the clock. 3 minutes, maybe, but that may also be all the time in the world for me. I put Belzebuth to full strength and started devouring my way inside Veldora while pushing the time concern to the back of my mind. My body changed back into slime form, not my usual buoyant liquid form, but more of a viscous, amorphous blob. This was Seal adjusting my shape for the aggressive predation I was doing. The efficiency of the process increased with the amount of contact surface I had with my target, so my continually moving body extended itself around Veldora, eating into the surface of his body. However, the target was simply too big. No matter how far I extended myself, Veldora still saw me as little more than a dot. Although it was a difficult task, I couldn't give up now. I ignored all common sense and quickened my hostile consumption, turning on Soul Consume as I looked for his core. Without Ciel's help, it would not have been feasible to do this either. I was beginning to believe that it had a computational ability that was significantly more than Raphael's after observing the astounding strength it had displayed before. I guess not just monsters change when their names are changed. Although we were currently seeing a lot of success thanks to Ciel, there were still some challenges. I was in excruciating pain, to be precise. The body of Veldora was actively rejecting me because it had discovered what I was doing. The aura of the storm dragon was causing my body to fall apart. The struggle had barely started, and I was attempting to eat it while it was attempting to subdue me. Heat, discomfort, and pain. Pain was suddenly flowing throughout my entire body, even though I was not supposed to be able to feel it. I shouldn't have noticed the heat, but I felt as though I were being doused in excruciatingly hot water. Then came the excruciating pain, something I had never experienced in this world before. My instincts for survival were immediately roused by the unsettling thought that my existence would be quickly eradicated. I, however, would not give in. I would triumph. I would endure this suffering in order to preserve Veldora. And I was no longer alone. I had a companion that was more trustworthy than ever before in Seal. I was so determined to eat the storm dragon and take the heart of Veldora because of this. If I could do it, no amount of suffering would ever be able to stop me.
Seal, everything all right?
Let me handle it.
So, we're good to go. I increased my predation after receiving Ciel's dependable response. All the energy I was consuming was one obstacle in my path. Contrary to a true dragon, it didn't translate into power for me as it would normally do. It wasn't becoming my power, instead, it was internally destroying my body. I guess that because dragons are so strong at the cellular level, nothing can ever hold them back. There's no use moaning about how the adversary managed to control this dragon in any case. Every time I lose a piece of my body, infinite regeneration begins to recreate and replace it. I managed to force myself to consume the energy in that way. If I could just throw it away, that would make things much simpler, but that wasn't going to happen. I had to first analyze and assess all of this energy in order to prevent damage to Veldora's core. Even though it was a very time-consuming procedure, I ultimately decided that it was the best course of action after speaking with Ciel. It was now up to me to continue with it. As I continued working, I set my thoughts on cruise control. Even though time was still running out, I was facing a sizable target. Although I started to worry that we would not succeed, I continued to have faith in Ciel. We were assured that we would make it on time.
I did some analysis work while I had some free time. Do you want to know more about it?
How could you possibly have some free time? Right now, I'm kind of in excruciating pain.
What exactly are you doing?
While Velgrin was confined in complex space, I was doing an analyze and assess process on her abilities, and analyzing her cardinal acceleration.
Attention anime fans, episode 15 of Solo Leveling is live. The action just leveled up, Jinwoo's powers are unleashed, and Baiko's secret plan is in motion. Dive in now.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the Anime Kahai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chad Vota, Chris Guzman, Havox, Speed Saber, James Waters, Arijit Das, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Justa Guy, Misael W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rossan, Byron, Jarius Ladek, Alfonso Smith, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, John Charles, Godman Gaming, Akon Engok, Markithian Tidwell, Andre L. Hamilton, Adrian, Kumo, Sanketh Chelu, T. Bush, John L., Edgar Fuentes, JV, Dirty Old Hobo, Gonse Direco, Thomas, J., Christ, Juan Ignacio, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Vethelny, Lunel Scarlett, Khaled, Christian Deshazer, Cal Robs, Divine C. Harris, Destiny Smith, Panda Cats, Aaron Alarcon, Monty Boy 98, D-Man, Ruben, Luis Caro, Yuki Iki, Pedro Robles, Chris Jr., Isaac, Koala King 93, Paul DeGrassi, Little 95, Coyote de Peza, Quilly Buckner, Zephyros, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, Jaya Keshav, L, Gary Miles, Nobody 0034, Dragon Spawn 666, J Rule, Sayonori, Alfredo Interior, Liel Tiram, Liron Sangkap, Eric Tass, Christopher Mash, Ekotski, Foolish Prophets, Ethan Madison, Louis Strutter, Charles Bailey, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Nick H, Andre Hamilton, Jason Torres, Sesh, Guy Ansley, Simon Road, Emperor W. USA, Mika Espinosa, George Hage, Pratik Bandari, Arod Dare, Von Joseph, Deriha Skerte, Jackson Early, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Tank Bailey, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Homelike Drop, Fazli Topador, Nasir, Vasto Lord, Martin Ramos, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Karen, Mark Charlie Els, Hansel Ortega, Yellow Wally, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Jay Magsino, Recru17, Bismarck Munoz, Arion Booker, Kamal Luke, Izat, Mr. Santo, Akshay Divate, M. Wei Jun. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.